Hey, this is Max. I am back with another CSR2 video. This time it's the Mustang HPE750. What I'm going to show you tonight is the use of this car for Tempest 3 Tier 4. It has become the second winnable car in the game that you can use to complete the entire Tempest 3 Tier 4 challenge without having to switch to another car to beat certain challenges at the very end. What that means is that one, with enough upgrades, this car can hit 260 miles per hour in the half. And two, at the same time, it can do a 0 to 60 run in 1.494 or faster. In addition, it also would have to hit certain other speed challenges starting at 190 at 625 pp all the way up to the 260 at maximum pp. The good news with this car is this: it can pull off the entire challenge target numbers while still missing stage 6 trans and tire. However, if you're missing other stage 6s, particularly body and nitrous, you will not be able to hit 260 miles per hour. That's an important note. Even when I was just missing intake and turbo, before I acquired those two last S6s, I was unable to hit 260 miles per hour. I was only able to hit 252. So while you can do it without tire and trans, you do need the other S6s and you do need full fusion if you're missing these two S6s to even make it to 260. 260 is the final benchmark. It's also one of the toughest ones to hit for most of the cars, unless you're driving the NSX F40 or one of the other ones that can make that number. So with this car, getting to 260 isn't that easy. It is one of the tougher things for it to do, which requires the most upgrade to accomplish. However, it can do it even though I'm running short of two S6s, and I'll show you this right now. So what I did is I tuned this car right now with the final gear to hit 260. Nitrous is increased to a longer duration to try to push as long as possible for the car to get enough time to get to 260. And the final piece is tire. In fact, during the entire time you're doing the challenge, the only thing you really have to adjust outside of the final race for the 260 mile per hour, where you need to adjust the transmission slightly, the rest of the time you're going to leave the trans right here pretty much for the entire tune from 625 pp all the way up to the end. The only time you're moving this is at the very end where you need to hit 260 mile per hour. You just tweak it so that it can hit it. So that says 231 11.332 1.347. The reason I have it sit here is this is how you hit this. The 1.494 0 to 60 can be accomplished simply by putting tire down to 0. Now, what about the 260 mile per hour? You accomplish it by doing this. Yes, the Evo drops, but look at the dyno, 253. Well, Max, that's not 260. Well, no, but we all know when the cars are on nitrous, a lot of them will outrun the time, the actual speed, top speed that the dyno is saying it can do. And this car will as well. It will beat that by simply driving it to beat it. So you're going to sort of short shift into fourth and then hit nitrous. The whole point here is you got to time the nitrous so it doesn't run out until you hit 260 right there. Okay, so that is why the duration is longer. 261.202 will do the job. Yes, it's cutting it close, but don't forget, I am also running without S6 trans or S6 tire. Now, tire turns out to be pretty useless to this car. Even for the purpose of hitting that 0 to 60 in 1.494, the tire isn't the thing that you need. Look, if I put this to 0, I leave this where it is. I'm not even going to try to make this the best. I'll even leave the nitrous where it is. The car will undercut the 1.494, no problem. And by the same token, your 4.278 0 to 100 would be no challenge at all. And so that is what is strong with this car, is that even though S6 tire is not installed, it has plenty of grip, and it will do the fast acceleration runs very easily. And that's as simple as launching and then hitting nitrous and shifting into second gear, like that. Almost the same strategy I used for the NSX to hit a lower 0 to 60, although it's much harder to hit 1.494 with the NSX. That's almost taking a little bit of skill. This is skillless. Okay, this is basically launching and shifting. You don't even have to do it perfectly to get under 1.494. So this car will do that easier. This car will also do all prior challenges without a lot of work. So I'm actually doing this in reverse order. I gave you the max setting first. So how do we start down tuning this car back to the lower PP levels like 658? Well, my recommendation is, as always, I tend to reduce body, trans, and tire if the car doesn't need it. In this case, I'm at 661, so to hit 658 PP, all I have to do is bump one of these guys down slightly. And that could be as simple as that. And that actually is much lower than you need. So even if it's something lower, it will still do the job. So here, the challenges are much easier. You only have to hit 240 miles per hour. And that is really not hard, again, as long as you tweak the tire settings. 246. So this time, you don't even need to struggle to hit the 240 miles per hour. You will simply drive the car, hit nitrous in 4th or 5th, whichever one makes you more comfortable. But with the extra duration, you can certainly hit it in 4th without a problem. And the car is more than fast enough to beat all the half-mile challenges that you'll be facing. So that's not going to be an issue. Always for Tier 4 in Tempest 3, the problem points are that 1.494 0 to 60 and the 260 mile per hour, which is a challenge for many cars. Now notice I did 254 here, which trans set to stage 4. I did 2.019 0 to 60. Your target number is only a 3.0, so you're a second under. So here, no problem at all. Now, yeah, that's not that impressive, but that will beat the boss, even at that PP rating. And again, this is not tuned for maximum performance. It is tuned simply to get there. This is probably going to be your maximum performance point, somewhere around here, along with the trans being reset to the maximum point, which is stock point, I like to call it. So this will give you a 11.599, and you know from the first video I made and comments from other players, if you use nitrous in 4th or 5th, you will actually beat that dyno slightly, giving you an easy win over the opponents as far as the half-mile times. You should have no problem meeting any of those times, and you should be able to get slightly under dyno, if not a decent amount under dyno, depending on the state of your car's fusions, tune, and how you drive it. So that was not that impressive, 11.6 on a 11.599 dyno. So I didn't beat it, but again, pretty easy to hit dyno with that shift pattern and nitrous. Now maybe with that particular setup with the transmission, you want to use nitrous in 5th. Or I didn't adjust nitrous, which probably hurt my performance there. If you put nitrous somewhere where it's much stronger, it'll also make the car faster. So that's something to consider as well. All right, so that was 658. So to get down to 640 PP points, again, you probably want to drop this stage 6, and that'll drop you a decent amount of points. And then you can put it to 4 if you want to just bump it down to 638. At 640 PP points, you have to hit 230 miles per hour and a 3.051 0 to 60. Let's take a look at the 0 to 60 first, 1.8. Well, that's no-brainer. So now let's see if we put it back to 50, do we hit 230? Yes, we do. 231. With nitrous duration not even increased, I have no problem. If we increase it a little bit, that will bump it up even more. So that's your safety margin right there to make sure you hit the 230 mile per hour challenge. And it doesn't get harder. It only gets easier really from here. And what you do is you basically are just downgrading these 3 parts to do all the PP numbers. So the next one, 630, again, you can bump down tire a little bit, and one stage of body will get you right to 630. That, again, the challenges get easier. At 630 pp, you only have to hit 210 miles per hour with a 3.5 0 to 60 and a 4.5 0 to 100. I haven't been really focused on the 0 to 100 because it really doesn't have that much of a problem hitting it. If you're hitting the 0 to 60, you're going to be hitting the 0 to 100. I mean, if you take a look here, that's not going to be a problem. 210 is not a problem. So again, as you at the beginning PP levels with an upgraded car, you actually have an easier time hitting all the target numbers. And finally, the lowest number you have to hit is the 625 PP level, which can be done simply by downgrading a little more, and that'll put you right there, 624. And again, I didn't touch anything else. I just kind of left them alone. Leaving the power on helps the car. I think this car has plenty of grip, so it's not going to have a problem with this part. 190 mile per hour challenge for the for the speed trap will be no issue. And here you're already doing 13th when your opponents are still doing 16th. So this is probably, in my opinion, the better of the two winnable cars to use for Tempest 4 Tier 3. It's better than the NSX in some ways, and here's why. One, it's current PC car. So you have a chance to get all the S6s, provided you saved enough bronze keys or you're willing to buy some. 7 is a guaranteed S6. Now you have 7 S6, so yes, it's a lot of S6. But you already should have won 2 between the Prestige Cup itself and today's Crew Cup. Assume you're in a milestone crew that actually gets to that S6. So there's 2. You're down to 5 to go. I ended up stripping 4 of these cars. I pulled 20 pulls this season to get enough of these cars. And I actually stripped 4 of them, and that gave me 3 S6. The rest I got from loyalty, and incidentally, I actually got 1 more before I even had to hit loyalty. So the rest came from the crates, and that gave me all the S6s. And as far as fusions, let's say you didn't get all your fusions filled out. Epics are tough to get, and I understand that. So you don't have to build that car today to max if you got the S6s. What you need to do then is to focus slowly on building fusions. And that will cost you. What that's going to cost you is about 190K a shot buying Mustang GTs. Now, get it in your head up front, it's going to take a lot of GTs before you get those epics you need. Bottom line is you should be stripping probably easily 30 of these guys before you get the parts you need to fill out the car. And you're going to get duplicates. Now the thing is, there are a few Fords in the game. The Ford GT, which was a Prestige Cup car before twice. So veteran players have plenty of Ford Fusions just from playing with those and getting duplicates all that time. But if you're new and you're still building, this is the car you're going to be buying. You should buy a few at a time, You like 2 or 3, strip them. 190 really isn't that much money if you think about it, compared to $1 million a pop for a Hurricane. So you should be able to max out the HPE over time, but you really should start doing the key pulls for the S6s now. Now is your best chance to get those S6s, provided you have the bronze keys. Now, I totally understand a new player wouldn't have 13,000 bronze keys saved up, but you should have some bronze keys saved up. You should not be pulling these to try to hope to get this, because the randomness of these regular bronze crates says you will probably never see an HPE part that you need, and even when you do get one, it may be a duplicate. So don't rely on that. This is why whenever I see a Prestige Cup car that I think is worth building, I start planning ahead. When I hear about it on Facebook that this will be a Prestige Cup car in 2 seasons, I'm already doing this. I'm saving these, and I'm planning to pull enough to get the parts I need. And for this car, when I first saw a leaked dyno from someone who hacked the game and got the car maxed before anybody even got a hold of it, and posted on Facebook, I looked at the numbers. It says 244 was the max mile per hour it could reach, and it could run at 10.6. I said, great. I feel like this car has a great potential of doing Tempest 4 Tier 3. And fortunately, I'm right, so I didn't waste all my keys for nothing. This car will do it. It also turns out this car does pretty well in live, and a lot of people are getting very good RP from it. So it's not a bad car all around, and it's worth the investment, particularly considering that you're winning this car. You don't have to buy it with gold or money like some of these others. Now, I do want to quickly go through these guys again. The Nissan 2017 GTR will hit 260 mile per hour, but it will not do the 0 to 60. The Ferrari F40 will also do 260 very easily, but it also will not do the 1.494. Same goes for this Veilside RX-7, great car, does high top speed, again 0 to 60 for 1.494 is a challenge. So with these three cars, even if you have them pretty much maxed out, at the very end you will have to spend 400 gold to switch cars. 400 gold may not sound like a whole lot for some people, but hey, look, if you're always switching fusions for gold, you're going to be pretty low on gold at this point, or you just started the game and you just don't have any gold saved up. Either way, know upfront that these three will not be able to do it without switching. The Eclipse can do the whole thing. I have a separate video on that. You should watch it if you're interested in learning about how to set up the Eclipse to beat Tempest 3 Tier 4. But this is probably the easiest car to use, even compared to these two. This is much easier to accomplish the job. But this is a Fast and Furious car. You had to pay gold for it. You had to get crates to max it. So again, it's not a cheap proposition. And at this point, with Fast and Furious over, you may not be able to max it at this point. So that's a problem for you too. So right now, in my opinion, out of all the cars available to do Tempest, this Ford is probably the best and easiest overall to build up to accomplish it, assuming you get the S6s. Now, again, you cannot do it without the S6s. This car is not going to be able to pull it off, missing turbo intake, engine, those other S6s that are critical to accomplishing the 260 mile per hour. If you were looking at simply trying to switch cars to do the job, I would recommend you actually wait on the Ferrari F40 Gold Cup that's coming up in the future. Pull that car if you can, and then use that in combination with the Rocket Bunny would be a good way to also build the Tempest 3 Tier 4. The 2017 GTR, again, if you have the S6s, that's a good car as well. So that is the quick breakdown of the current status of Tempest 3 Tier 4s, and the two cars that can do it, that are winnable and does not require any kind of special money spent, would be these two. However, if you're new and you don't have the parts, unfortunately, it may be a long wait, or you may have to spend some gold to kind of do the swap technique to beat Tempest 3 Tier 4. Well, I hope this video clarifies all the settings and needs for the Mustang HPE750 to use in Tempest 3. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment under the video, and this will give me an idea of what I need to address. In addition, please subscribe to the channel, as when I post new videos, you get notification. And as always, I want to thank you for watching my videos.